Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's episode of the Functional Medicine Pharmacist Show. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren Castle, and we are going to kick things off right after this reel. All right. Well, I am so excited to hop on here today and go live because today's a very special day for me. Today is officially my first day in true full-time entrepreneurship as the founder and CEO of the Functional Medicine Pharmacists Alliance. As some of you may have seen if you follow me on Instagram yesterday in my stories, but I worked my last scheduled shift on the bench yesterday. I will be just PRN from here on out, just to keep one foot in the door of pharmacy practice, which is such a passion for me. And at this point now can be just that, rather than my main focus and source of income and time. So I wanted to just take a little moment today to talk about that journey. Because it certainly didn't happen overnight. And our functional medicine pharmacist community has really been growing rapidly over the last week. So shout out to those of you who might be new in the Facebook group if you're watching this, or potentially watching anywhere else online. I'm so excited to have more pharmacists joining in this movement that has been steadily growing since way back in 2017 when all of this began. For me personally. And so I know I've shared bits and pieces of that story and that journey in different videos and blog posts and social media posts over the years. But just to kind of catch you guys up if you're new, I discovered functional medicine in 2015 through my husband's health journey and really got serious about studying it for myself when I started a master's in 2016 through 2018. And started wanting to teach other pharmacists about functional medicine because it was just so life-changing for us. And I was like, why didn't we learn this in pharmacy school? This is amazing and so helpful for patients. And so I started teaching continuing education courses at conferences on functional medicine. And everywhere that I went, there would be more and more pharmacists who were also interested in this field and on this journey. And so the Facebook group started in 2017 as a way to connect everyone and stay in touch. And then we launched the blog in August of 2017 in order to have sort of a home landing page for people to go to and discover this new movement. And so fast forward through the years as the Facebook group continued to grow, I was still working full-time in corporate roles at that point. And in 2020, it became very apparent that this was more than just a Facebook group or a blog or a website, that this truly needed to be an organization for pharmacists to actually work with some of the other functional medicine players that were out there and to start bringing pharmacists into these spaces and giving us a voice and a seat at the table. So that was where the first membership came in, was in 2020. And since then, we've really just been working to create more opportunities for pharmacists to get the right training, to start to upskill their abilities in functional medicine and carve out what our role looks like on the functional medicine care team, and collaborating with other practitioners and, of course, the patients themselves. And we've worked with a number of organizations, but this year we finally launched our own bootcamp course, which I really feel like was the culmination of these 7 years of exploration and putting all of these pieces together in just one simple online course that a pharmacist could take before having to spend thousands of dollars going through trainings and certifications and potentially picking one that didn't actually meet their needs or their goals. And they were still left trying to figure out what to do with the information they were given. So we actually are doing our last call for the boot camp cohort that was just recently going through the course this summer. And after this call tonight, the course is going to be considered evergreen, meaning that you can take it on demand anytime. You don't have to wait for a cohort to start or stop. You can just join in whenever you are ready. And we are going to be having live monthly calls on the last Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to support you with any questions that you have and to give you an opportunity to meet other pharmacists that are also in the Functional Medicine Pharmacist Bootcamp community. So for those of you who's already signed up and taken the bootcamp, you will be part of this new format and welcome to join these monthly calls going forward. And so we're just really excited to be launching this new format that's going to make it so much easier for people to just start right from the get-go on the right foot, and really tap in with others who are on this journey. So if you're interested in joining the bootcamp tonight, you can just go to the FMPHA website under education and click on the link for Functional Medicine Pharmacist Bootcamp, and you can actually join right in tonight if you would like. Otherwise, that next bootcamp call again will be the last Wednesday in August. So very excited for this. And if you have questions, feel free to send them in wherever you're watching this, and we'll be happy to answer those as well. Other exciting things going on for the month of August. We're actually going to be adding in another avenue for support in terms of clinical education. So more to come on this as far as details go, but this is a question that we've been getting a lot, which is, there's so many clinical options out there for training, but where do we go? And so we wanted to start bringing in some of the functional medicine pharmacist experts that are out there in the world to speak directly to our FMPHA members and start to share that knowledge and that wisdom in sort of a monthly clinical mastermind format and give you guys an opportunity to pick their brains, so to speak, because oftentimes that's not really possible with a lot of the different experts that are out there. And so we've got a lineup of some really incredible pharmacists that I'm excited to start bringing in every month. First of which will be Marina Buxoff, which many of you may know as the herbal pharmacist. Her and I have been discussing ideas on how to collaborate for a while, and I think this is just the perfect way to bring her in and have her share some of her amazing wisdom around herbs and plants, because really and truly, I think that's kind of the first step for a lot of pharmacists in the functional medicine space, is really starting to brush up or brush off that old knowledge about herbs and supplements. As we think about more holistic ways that we can help with patients, supporting their biochemistry and their physiology, as well as for symptom relief. Oftentimes that is still needed in the healing process. And so these different supplements and herbs are, of course, a whole realm of their own that really need a lot of education to understand the interactions they may have with the supplement or with the prescriptions patients are on, and how to utilize them. So we're excited to be bringing Marina on, and that webinar is actually going to be, let me get the dates here so I don't tell you guys the wrong one. Wednesday, August 16th at 7 p.m. is going to be the kickoff for that. So the way this is working right now is it's open to all FMPHA members. So we're sort of piloting this for the rest of the year if you're interested, but potentially going into next year, this will be a separate sort of mentorship program, or another level of membership. So I really encourage anyone who's interested in hearing these clinical sessions to join today, because this is going to be an incredible value that we're really excited to bring in. And we still have a handful of lifetime memberships to offer. So I think we're more than 50% sold at this point. But again, it's only $9.97 for a lifetime membership. And I think it's just going to be so worth it for those of you who decide to join now and know all that's coming in the upcoming year, especially now that this is my full-time gig. So it's really exciting to be building out this team. You'll also be seeing more of Veronica, who is going to be helping out with education and membership engagements, and we're just really, really honored and excited to have her wisdom as well. She's got such a passion for this area and for supporting other pharmacists. And so it's going to be amazing to have her supporting the organization as well. And lastly, if again you're interested in potentially being a clinical speaker, if you're a pharmacist and you have a topic or an area of expertise that you would love to share about, please reach out to me directly, and we can get you plugged into our waitlist to be a presenter for FMPHA. And then likewise, if you're interested in just being involved in general, we've talked about doing state leaders for quite some time, and it's really just been a matter of getting the right system and structures in place to be able to support that work and what it's going to look like. But we're getting very close to that as well. So if that's something else that you're interested in being involved in sort of a leadership role for FMPHA, please reach out to me as well, as I'm kind of going back through previous notes of people who have volunteered for that, so that we can start to bring together this group who is going to help expand FMPHA into every corner of every state. And so last but not least, we are also really excited this year to be working with several national pharmacy organizations. So Veronica and I, who I mentioned, are going to be presenting at ASCP, which is in October. So that will be October 26th through the 29th in Orlando, Florida. For those of you who were on the RPH Ally soiree last week, you may have seen Chad, who is their CEO, and his support for RPH Ally and pharmacists that are really starting to think outside of the box. So it's exciting to see the support for functional medicine through that organization. Of course, NCPA also has their conference coming up October 14th through the 17th. I know I personally won't be at that one. It's in Orlando, Florida as well, but there are lots of incredible functional pharmacists who are independent pharmacy owners. And so you can get plugged in with a number of individuals in that particular conference. And the one I'm most excited for right now, I actually am going to be doing a webinar tonight with the one and only Randy McDonough, who many of you may know as the owner of Towncrest Pharmacies. But we are going to be talking about functional medicine on a webinar that's going to be recorded for CPESN. And Randy is the incoming president of the American Pharmacists Association. So if you would have told me 7 years ago that I would be on a webinar with the president of APHA talking about functional medicine, that was my dream, to finally see functional medicine being brought to this organization. So I am just so thrilled for Randy's upcoming year of leadership, and all that we're going to be able to accomplish together. This has really, really been something that I have just kept in the back of my mind as we sort of moved forward in figuring out the role of functional medicine in the profession of pharmacy, and really kind of had to start outside of the profession and start in the functional medicine space and working with those practitioners to help educate them on the role of pharmacists. And now we're finally able to actually start bringing in this functional medicine knowledge and education to our traditional pharmacy organizations, because they're ready for it. They're understanding and they're seeing the value that this approach has, and realizing that we have to adapt. We have to change the way that we've always done things, and realizing that this is not getting patients healthier by just continuing to adhere them to medications day in and day out. We have to start incorporating lifestyle medicine and functional medicine and herbal medicine and all of these different modalities to really get to the root cause. And so I truly, truly believe that functional medicine is the future of pharmacy. And we are right here on the precipice of something incredible. So again, just one more reason that I really would encourage anyone who's interested in the space to join FMPHA and support the mission of what we're doing. because it's going to take all of us. It's going to take everyone working together and coming together in a unified way. And that's really our mission, is to bring everyone together so we can bridge these gaps and these silos. Last but not least, I just wanted to make sure I reminded everyone about the upcoming Pharmacy Symposium in Nashville. That's going to be September 22nd and 23rd. FMPHA members get $200 off the registration. So again, it pays for itself whenever you sign up as an annual member, but you're welcome to sign up for lifetime. And again, you'll still get that $200 off coupon. We're just super excited for everyone getting to be back in person. And I know this is going to be an amazing event. So get your tickets now and make your plans for Nashville. It's only a couple months away at this point. So it'll be here before you know it. There's so many other exciting things on the calendar. The best way to stay up to date on what's going on is to make sure you're subscribed to our newsletter. So it's just fmpha.org/newsletter. And you'll get a free functional medicine checklist resource as well whenever you subscribe as a thank you. But we'll be sending out, again, recaps of everything that's going on very soon, as far as boot camp changes, clinical webinar changes, all of these amazing events and partnerships that we're going to have with organizations, as well as all the typical reminders that we have of other trainings, like IFM AFMCP is coming up September 15th. If you want to save 20% on that as a member. There's the Mindshare Summit, which is going to be a first for me. I'm actually going to that October 5th through the 8th. So if you're interested in building your own personal brand and having that be the way that you help patients, this is the perfect place to start. All of the who's who in the functional medicine world will be there. So it's hosted by JJ Virgin. They're going to have Dr. Jeff Bland there. Isabella Wentz is someone who's gone through the Mindshare program and really created an amazing brand. So just examples there. But if you're interested, FMPHA has a $500 off coupon code for that event as well. So we're really excited for that. And then before I forget, tomorrow, we're actually doing a webinar with Functional Medicine Coaching Academy. So this is another area that I've sort of held off on discussing or talking about in depth, just because the focus has really been on pharmacists practicing at the top of their license. So collaborative practice agreements, pharmacogenomics, working on recommending and tailoring and optimizing medications and supplements, all these different things, right, that are really ideally suited for the pharmacist skill set based on our training. But there's also a lot of interest in health coaching as either an alternative to pharmacy practice or a supplement to pharmacy practice. But I think what's going to be really fascinating is to also think about the role that health coaching can play whenever you train support staff like technicians in this modality, so that you can really have the pharmacist leveraging their clinical knowledge and have a pharmacy technician potentially working on the adherence and the behavior change piece of all of that. I think that's truly the way to scale a functional medicine practice or program in an independent pharmacy setting, or potentially, in other types of retail settings, or even in an entrepreneurial setting, right? Like if you want to branch out and start your own practice, bringing in a technician with you or partnering with a health coach can be amazing in a way to make sure that you are not having to sacrifice so much of your time when you can really spend that optimizing the patient's medication and supplement regimen. So there's not a right way or a wrong way to do any of this. You can certainly offer both health coaching and pharmacy services. It's just a matter of understanding how to do that in a way that makes sense. So Dr. Sandy and I will be hosting this webinar. Again, we'll send out an email reminder and post some information about that on social today so you all can sign up for it. But it's going to just be a really incredible webinar. So encourage you all to join us tomorrow night at, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern time is the date for date and time for that one. All right. I feel like I talked a lot in a very short amount of time, but just wanted to give everyone an update on everything happening. For those of you who follow me just on my personal social media channels outside of FMPHI or even Dr. Lauren, my brother is getting married this weekend, so I'll be traveling to Georgia for that. Very excited for him. And when I get back, we'll have just a couple of days before I head off to Chicago for Global Leadership Summit. Melody Hartzler and I will both be going to that along with a few other amazing, incredible people in the orthomolecular team. And so after we get back from that conference in Chicago, I will be headed to Costa Rica for 3 weeks. So the second week that I'll be down there, August the 12th through the 19th, is called a FAM week, which is basically a familiarization week for future retreat leaders. So if you are a pharmacist or anyone else that's watching this and you've ever thought to yourself, I would love to host a retreat someday, particularly in Costa Rica, this would be the visit week for you. There, I think, maybe 1 or 2 spots left in this week if you are really interested and can swing it to fly down just like 2-3 weeks from now. Reach out to me again. We can talk about it. And if August is not the time frame for you, then there's going to be another one in October. I think the 25th through the 29th. So definitely reach out if Costa Rica retreats is something you're interested in. And then the third week I'll be down there, we were going to be hosting a retreat between myself and a couple other leaders, but we're actually going to be postponing that to October as well. So if you're someone who had seen my emails about joining me in Costa Rica on a retreat, and August was not a good timeline for you, never fear. You actually get a second chance to attend if you are interested in October. So that is looking like it'll be the 14th or 15th through the 25th. So very excited for that. If it's something that you feel like Costa Rica is calling your name, please, again, reach out. Let's connect. Let's talk about it and start planning now so that you can get those time off or plans made to join us in Consumania. So very, very, very excited for all the things right now and just so, so grateful for everyone in this community, everyone who watches, everyone who has supported along the way. It's been quite the journey, and I feel like we are just getting started. So thank you all again, and we'll see you in the newsletter and online. Have a great day.